Who will cascade down the avenue to greatness, and who will be getting their nicknames in the brook? It's the Oulton Park preview.
Hello and welcome back to the British Touring Car Podcast, and we are back once again, nearly at halfway through the season already. Another week and a bit has passed, and we'll be heading off to Oulton Park in Cheshire on Saturday, Sunday. We won't personally. We'll be on the sofa once again, hoping to God that it is cooled down a little bit at home. How are you, Russ?
Hot. It's too hot. It's ridiculous.
It is.
It's
that typical British thing of going, oh, when's the sun coming? Oh, no, it's too much now.
In this country, the way our houses are, anything over 23 degrees is horrible, isn't it? And it's been over 30 the last couple of days. And I live in a flat, which means it's, just ridiculous.
Heat rises for you.
Yeah, it's mad. So this week, I have not closed my curtains. I've not shut my door. So I do apologise for any form of interference ahead of time. But I'm not locking myself in a airless room for 20 minutes, half an hour. I will rot through this t-shirt.
At least you've got a t-shirt on. So,
for now.
Yeah,
say
for now.
If I stay in for like more than half an hour, it will probably rot off.
Can I just start out the pod by saying a huge thank you to everyone on YouTube that has watched our videos so far. We already have over 1,000 views, so thank you very much to everyone of you that has viewed. And if you have viewed and you haven't subscribed, please do remember to do that. And of course, drop a like where you think it's necessary. And please do leave us any comments. We always try and reply to them, and we love hearing from you.
And if you listen to us on the podcast, why not try out the YouTube? You might like it just as much, if not a little bit more.
Yeah.
And if you hate it, you can always go back to podcasts. There's no losing here. You are Ash Sutton. You can't lose. It's fine.
Yeah. If you don't want to see our faces, I completely understand.
But just a reminder, the YouTube ones are unedited and slightly more unfiltered. So you do get a little bit more behind the scenes, which normally involves me shouting at Sam or looking in despair at him for something. Talking of which, is your phone on silent this week?
No, not yet.
No,
I'll do that now.
Of course it wasn't. While you're doing that, Oulton Park, up in Cheshire, which is up north for us, 12 corners, 2.23 miles, so one of the longer circuits we go to, in picturesque, beautiful scenery. If you haven't been and you get the chance to go, it is well worth the trip out for the sights alone. Car park at the end, not so much, but that's the same everywhere. The first touring car race was held here in 1960. Sam, would you like to guess who has the qualifying lap record?
Is it Camish?
No.
Is it... Oh, Rowbottom was really quick here a couple of years ago. Was it him?
Oh, no.
Oh, sorry.
One more guess.
Sutton, then.
No.
Go on, then. Who was it?
Tom Ingram in 2022, so last year, with a 1 minute 25.4.
Yeah, he took a double win here last year, didn't he?
He did. Would you like to guess who the race lap record belongs to?
I've got to go for Ingram again, then.
Correct. 2021, though. So not as quick last year as it was the year before. It's really weird how that works, isn't it? But
yeah,
it's a very good circuit. It's basically a square with a hairpin when you break it down. But it is quite a good weekend for racing. There's lots of undulations and, changes? Level changes? What's the word? Hills.
Hills, yes. I thought it was a really good track to view at as well. We went, 2 years ago now? And I really enjoyed it up there. Loved having the day out. And it's certainly worth a watch. As you say, it's very picturesque.
Yeah, the main place to look for overtaking is into Old Hall, which is the first corner. Be careful coming down Cascades. That's a long hill, and that's where Smiley happened a few years ago on Osborne, rather. Sorry.
All those original people will know what we're on about with that.
Yeah, the ones that followed us since the start. Then Smiley happened. Then you've got the Island Bend hairpin. It was after that, isn't it? Where was it on the way to the hairpin? Lloyd and Turkson had their massive smash last year.
It was after that, just over the crest of the hill, before they got into the Nickelbrook chicane.
There you go. Sam is the fountain of knowledge. And then you've got the fantastic end of the lap, which is the Lodge Corner and Deer Leap, which is literally effectively a dip in the road that just fantastic, isn't it? The way you just drop and come back up like a roller coaster.
Yeah, famous for a couple of events, of course. Neil and Shedden coming together in the Civic Days, going off into that at the final lap of the final corner, and also where was it Osborne rolled the MG?
Yeah, I think it was. And I remember Carl Boardley having an incident in was it the
Mm.
warm-up lap in the rain, and the barriers had to
Yep,
be repaired and all sorts
yep.
of fun bits and pieces. So it's a good track. There's a lot to say. There's lots of action here. I think it's the perfect antidote to Thruxton, which,
Let's hope so.
well, yeah, as I say, we've discussed Thruxton in our last review, and I think that weekend has gone down very badly among the Btcc community for its dullness, which I can understand. But I think that Oulton Park is the perfect antidote because there should be a fair amount of action this weekend, I think.
Yep, well, the action starts on the Sunday fairly late on, actually. They have a curfew in the morning, which means that they can't open the pit lane until just after midday. So the first touring car race will be taking place at 25 past 12. And then the next touring car race happens at 20 to 3, with the final one being at 25 past 5, meaning that everyone's going to be queuing on the way out.
Yeah.
That was a long queue.
Yeah, it wasn't the best. It's not the worst, but it wasn't the best either.
Certainly not the worst.
I still think that Croft and Snetterton are the best in terms of getting people out.
Yeah, I was surprised how easy it was to get out of Croft. And Silverstone is also very good just because of its location.
Well, yeah, but you kind of can't really count Silverstone because it's purpose-made racetrack effectively.
Yes.
What are your main expectations for the weekend? Are we going to get another snooze fest of Sutton qualifying well, winning race 1 and 2, and doing something in race 3? We're going to have different compounds, not all 3, but we are going to have the option and the soft tire this weekend. So we are going to have a need to run both sets.
I certainly think it's very hard to look past the Napa Fords this weekend, whether it is solely Sutton or whether Camish and Rowbottom are going to put in another solid performance. I think Camish normally goes quite well here, so we may see something exciting from him. And as I've already mentioned, Ingram took a double win here last season, followed by Ash Sutton in second in those first 2 races. So it could be much of the same, unfortunately.
It could be, but Sutton did have a problem here in the Infinity year. He had, I think, 2 non-finishes, or certainly at least one, because he was in the gravel for one of them. And he went to the back of the grid, if you remember, in race 1 and had to fight back into the points. He had contact with Turkson and Ingram, I think, in race 1 that year.
Yeah.
So it's not guaranteed. And I do think that this will be the track, and maybe I'm just saying because I want it to be the case to a degree, where the Ford isn't as dominant, because I think it's such a interesting track with lots of different elements. You've got really fast sections where you need power and grunt. You've got a lot of sections where you do need the traction that perhaps the BMW can offer more, but you also have the fast flowing corners where you'd expect the Ford to be good. So I think it's going to be a little bit more balanced this weekend in terms of what the circuit offers people. I think there's going to be potentially 3 sectors and 3 very different cars that have strengths in those sectors.
Okay. I certainly think it's going to be interesting, the opening to all 3 races. We know how tight it is going down Cascades. There's always door banging and bumper to bumper action in the first lap. Sometimes drivers get away with it and sometimes drivers don't. I think Sutton fell victim to that a couple of years ago in that Infinity, and it was one of his only races that he didn't actually finish in that season that we were there.
A reminder of last year then, as you mentioned, Tom Ingram took both race 1 and race 2. Sutton was second in both of those races, and in third we had Rory Butcher and Colin Turkson respectively. Race 3 was won by Stephen Jelly, which is always nice to see, I know, on a reverse grid, with a second place position for, I'm trying to find it now.
Aidan Moffat.
Aidan Moffat, you're right, it was indeed, yeah.
He had a good weekend there.
And a third place went to Josh Cook. So a potential for a mix mash of a podium, particularly perhaps not the front 2 places or so, but I think third is certainly up for grabs for perhaps a non-regular to the podium this year.
Yeah, taking a look at the other 2 or 3 title contenders, Jake Hill didn't have a good time out there last year. He scored points in all 3 races, but a 13th, a 7th, and a 13th with the fastest lap certainly wasn't what he was looking for. as you say, Turkington got a podium, but also had a retirement that weekend.
Well,
And
yeah,
then
he had a massive crash with Dan Lloyd.
yes. And Camish ended up with a fifth, sixth, and sixth. So good consistency, but not setting the world alight.
Yeah, I I think it is a circuit where double winning is likely, even though neither of us have gone for it in our predictions. But I think there's a good chance for a double win because whilst there are lots of places to overtake, the way the corners flow, you can take the place back or you can drive quite nicely on the defensive, and
Yeah.
There's plenty of chances to overtake, but there's plenty of chances to block those off, which often means we see good side by side racing for half a lap or so, which is always good fun to see. I honestly don't think Sutton is going to dominate this weekend. I really don't.
No, I have a feeling that he won't. I certainly don't think it will be anywhere near what he's done over the last couple of race weekends. I think we're going to see a little bit more equality. As you say, different parts of the track suit different cars, and I think that is going to be the main reason behind it. But the weather could also play a part this weekend as well, couldn't it?
Yeah, so as we sit here sweltering in East Anglia, I'm looking at Little Budworth on the BBC weather tab. Saturday is going to be bright sunshine with highs of 26 degrees and a low of 13. Whereas Sunday is going to be 24 degrees, but it has got the black rain cloud with the little raindrop. It's obscuring half of the sun, and the rain is allegedly going to hit around 2 o'clock until 4 o'clock, where there's a 30. Well, actually, before then, at 11 o'clock onwards, there's a 40% chance of rain, which doesn't dip until 2 o'clock when it drops to 31% and then drops slowly throughout the afternoon. So there is a chance as we speak, but this is England and the weather changes on the hour. We were supposed to get thunderstorms today, and as of yet, as I look behind through the window, it is still bright sun and scorching skies.
Yeah, no sign of those thunderstorms yet today. It'll be interesting, especially if we do get some sort of precipitation even in the morning, as to whether the track will dry up, whether it will be ready for race one to go straight onto slicks, or whether we're going to have one of those changeable races, which I always love.
I can't remember the last time we had rain at Oulton Park.
No, it's normally sort of like middle of the summer race, so it's very rare that we actually get a big downpour.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, this weekend as well, do not forget that if only Oliphant was here, Turkington still owes him a move at Oulton Park.
Yeah.
Going back 2 or 3 years when they're fighting Morgan for the lead. But
maybe he'll give it back to Jake. No, that's not going to happen.
But certainly, I think this has been a BMW strong track, generally speaking.
Okay.
But we'll see how that goes, because as I said before, I don't think the BMWs have quite got themselves up to speed this season. Not quite at it. We've mentioned quite a few general predictions. Let's go into what we've actually got then. Sam, who are you going to go for a race? Pole first of all. Pole.
Now, call me boring, but
Boring.
It seems like a safe bet at the moment in going for Ash Sutton.
Boring.
Thank you. But I'm here to
on.
play the game. I'm here to get the points.
Yeah, as a reminder, you are leading 11-10, so perhaps I should be a bit more conservative. But I'm going to go Colin Turkington. He loves the Wingfoot Award. He leads the Wingfoot Award. He's going to be there or thereabouts. And all jokes aside about the Wingfoot Award, he is always there or thereabouts. I can't remember the last poor qualifying for Turkey where you'd say he qualified outside the top 6. I mean, obviously it's happened, but generally speaking, he's always inside the top 6 or higher.
It's consistency, isn't he?
That's what wins you the foam trophy, which they all want to win at the start of the season. So, yeah, I'm going for Colin Turkington. I think the BMW might just have, and with the extra hybrid as well, I think that.
Make a hell of a lot of difference.
I think so. So no, Turkington for pole.
Okay, that's fair enough. Have you also gone for a race win for Turkington then?
I have. He's, as I say,
Ooh.
I kind of feel, I'm jumping a little bit to what my final thoughts would have been, but I kind of feel that this has to be the weekend where somebody else chips away.
I'm sure you said that last time out.
Yeah, but this is the end. This is then the halfway point. It's in the summer break.
Yes.
I kind of feel that it has to happen now. This has to be the chance, particularly the track we're at, where you would say that at the start of the season, if you're Dick Bennett, you're sitting down looking at the tracks you expect to go well at, this would be earmarked as one of the ones higher up in the list.
Yeah, a couple of big traction zones is always something that plays into the BMW's hands.
Yeah.
And yeah, it could be. I very much doubt it, though.
I have also gone for Sutton to win a race, rather, and I've also gone for Adam Morgan, who I think will be there or thereabouts. He does quite well at Oulton Park, generally speaking, and I think he'll be there or thereabouts to get a reverse grid for race number 3. I don't think that Robottom will have the same charging impact he had at Thruxton or any of the other Napa Fords, to be fair. Not to the same degree.
He was very unfortunate that it was one of the Napa Fords chasing him down at Thruxton. Otherwise, I think he'd have won that race comfortably. The lead that he managed to pull out early on, he was very unlucky not to take the win there. But credit to Robottom, it was good drive from him, and he had some excellent pace. He is one of my winners this weekend, Robottom, along with Ash Sutton, and also the double winner from last year, Tom Ingram. I just think he's the best after Sutton at the moment, and I think he needs to keep taking the points where he can, and if he can nick a win here or there, then that points gap to Sutton isn't going to get too big.
Interesting you don't think Camish is second to Sutton. Interesting.
No, pace-wise, I think Ingram at the moment.
Who is your elected Jack Sears for the weekend?
Please, please, please. I hope I haven't jinxed him.
Again.
But, yeah, again. But I'm going to go for Pearson.
Okay.
I want to see that consistency. I want to see him finishing all the Jack Sears races. As we know, Dexter leads the way at the moment because he has finished every race. And it's going to be crucial coming towards the end of the Jack Sears Championship that you need to make the most of that, and you need to start winning a couple of Jack Sears rounds as well.
Well, I've actually gone for the aforementioned Patterson. As you say, we were discussing this the other night, explaining to partners why I like him so much. But he is the only one, I believe, in the Jack Sears competition this season so far to finish every race, which means he's scored Jack Sears points every race, which means he's leading the championship. And I think his consistency is really good. I don't really think the Cooper will be fantastic round here, to be honest with you, but I also think he is the most likely to keep his powder dry and just finish the races. I can see Osborne getting caught up in something. I can see Pearson getting caught up in something. I don't really put that same thing on Dexter's door. I don't really see him get caught up in anything he shouldn't do. And that's not just this season, even last season. You could count the incidents he was involved in on one hand. You wouldn't even need a full hand. You know, he's a very good keep the powder dry kind of racer. And I think he'll win the Jack Sears this weekend. Not comfortably, but I think he'll win the Jack Sears this weekend. I also expect Vauxhall to be very poor here.
You expect them to be poor? Okay. Yeah. That's interesting. Just a little update on the Jack Sears. I was having a look at the TSL timings and the championship standings following Thruxton. Of the people that have taken wins in the Jack Sears so far this year, he only has one race Jack Sears win. Whereas, what have we got? We've got Pearson, who's taken 2, Doble's taken 2, Watson's taken 3, and Osborne has taken 4 wins in Jack Sears.
But isn't top.
He's taken 3 seconds and he's taken 5 thirds, and scoring across the board there in those podium positions, as it were, for the Jack Sears is what's got him the lead by 5 points.
Yeah.
Good consistency.
Completely agree. So I'm going for him this weekend.
That's fair.
In terms of general predictions, then, I'll give you all 3 of mine at once. I'm going to go for Camish out-qualify Sutton.
Ooh.
There is a very good track limit section here called Old Hall, which I think Sutton might abuse a couple of times this weekend. If it's being monitored. And then I think he might have to do what would be called a safety lap, where he's not quite as fast as he could be because he's not wanting to miss out a lap. So I think that I'm going to go for, Camish to out-qualify Sutton. All Toyotas to score points. It's not been a great season for Gamble so far, but I think this is a track that they should go quite well at due to their shape and speed. So I'm going to go for all Toyotas, to score points. And finally, I'm going to have a non-finish for a title hopeful. So that's going to be in the main title. I won't try and claim it if Bobby Thompson doesn't get a finish. It's basically It's Camish, Sutton, Ingram, Hill, or Turkton will get one non-finish or more this weekend.
Okay, and that's a non-finish rather than a non-score.
Non-finish, not a non-score, a non-finish.
Yeah, just classifying that. So
and that counts if they're 7 laps down and end up being non-classified, by the way, because they might still be running. So it's it's either non-finish / NC at the end of it.
No, that's fine. So my 3 predictions for this weekend, I think we're going to see another 3 Napa podiums. Whether that comes 2 in one race and 1 in another, I think across the weekend we'll see 3 Fords on a podium.
Okay, you can do it that way. You're not won a race, just 3 overall.
Not won a race, just overall.
Are we saying 3 on the dot or 3 or more?
3 or more.
Okay, I'm just checking the parameters in case
they
get 4.
I will clarify that as 3 or more.
Lovely. Okay.
I'm going to go for a Toyota podium. Now, you've gone for all Toyotas to score points. I think we could... Go on.
There's no space left of the podium. Napa got it all.
I think we're going to see maybe a sneaky podium, maybe Collard, if he can keep it within the white lines, or maybe Butcher, because we know that Butcher is starting to ramp up that pace. He seems to get better throughout a season, and I just think that Toyota might have found a little more of a turning point and is gradually catching up those top 3 teams. And then my final one is to Ingram for outscoring Sutton this weekend. I'm very much basing this on a reverse grid draw and Ingram making a little bit more progress than Sutton. I think they're going to be very equal across the weekend, as they were last time out. But yeah, I'm going for an Ingram to outscore Sutton on points.
Do you think Ingram will lead the championship at the end, outscore, or just outscore on the weekend?
Just outscore on the weekend.
You're not going to do another ludicrous prediction of new leader at the end of the... Okay.
No, that backfired quite severely last time out, and I've learnt my lesson.
Very well done. We also have a game to play this weekend. As we're not going and we're on the armchair watching, we've gone for safety car watch across the British touring car races. I think we'll get a fair few here, being Oulton Park, and there's always, the chance for a big incident. Last year we had the massive crash in the Minis as well, don't forget, and the big crash in the Ginettas, as well as Lloyd's crash too. So I'm going to go for 5 safety cars across the 3 touring car races. Safety cars breed safety cars at Oulton Park. So I'm going for 5 or more. Well, it doesn't matter or more. If it's more, I win. So 5.
Yeah. Now, I'm only going for 3 this time out. I think we might see maybe a couple, and then, as you say, they breed each other. We might see a second one thrown quickly at one point. But I think middle race might be quite sensible. Race 3 is always going to be balls to the wall and go for it. So, yeah, I'm going to go for 3.
Fair enough. Right. You can track our progress throughout the weekend, of course. Sam, do you have any final thoughts?
What are my final thoughts for Oulton? I like watching the races at Oulton. I think they're always close. They're always competitive. We always see good battles. I think, again, we'll probably see maybe 6 or 7 cars battling for that final point or the final few points. It seems to be where most of the action is at the moment. And we might, as a consequence of that, see a coming together on an opening lap in that sort of area, as we normally seem to see to some extent at Oulton. How about you?
It's a good weekend for support racing, so make sure you stick by the telly throughout the afternoon. You've got the Radicals, which could be, well, frankly, dangerous, to be honest, given some of the crashes we've had here in recent years, but it should be quite good to watch around here. We've got the Minis, we've got the Porsches, and we've got the F4s. I don't think I missed anything off that support package.
We've got the Minis, as you said. It seems a fairly small support package this weekend.
Well, it will be. They've not got a lot of time to race, have they?
No, exactly. And something that we haven't quite mentioned yet is qualifying for the touring cars on Saturday starts at 3:45.
Okay, brilliant.
Just thought I'd let you know.
Thank you very much indeed. And a final thought. It's on ITV1 this weekend. Please change your recordings. Please don't get angry for not changing recordings. It's on ITV1. Please check your set-top box, whatever it is called these days.
Is it on ITV1, mate?
I've heard rumours that it's on ITV1.
I think people started posting that it was on ITV1 just as Thruxton finished. So if you haven't seen it on social media, then I'll be amazed. But we're giving you the update here as well.
There's a lot of people that don't see it and then go onto social media to complain about it. So please remember. I think other than that, mate, that's that. I'm looking forward to the racing. It should be a good weekend. You're coming to mine, so that's always nice.
What's for lunch?
Depends on the weather, because if it's anything like this, there is no lunch. It's too hot to eat.
Just beer.
Just beer. Yeah.
Perfect.
It's a liquid lunch, and I might provide some olives.
All right, then. Well, please do give us a like, comment on whatever platform you do listen on. We love to hear your feedback, and we love the engagements that we're getting on our posts throughout the week. We'll, of course, be back next week with a review podcast, followed by the driver grades, and then we will be into a summer break where we're going to have a little meeting this weekend to see what we're going to schedule. So please keep your ears and eyes peeled as to what we have coming up soon.
Bye for now. Bye.